Radhe Radhe, good morning and good evening to everyone who has joined us in person and online on the Swami Mukundananda YouTube channel from around the world. We are thrilled to have you at JKYog US headquarters, the Radha Krishna Temple of Dallas, for the live global book launch of Swami Mukundananda's latest book, Spiritual Secrets from Hinduism and 30-day challenge for the same in the Radha Krishna Bhakti app. The book reveals the deepest eternal truths in Hinduism known to the wisest seers of India across millennia. It offers a complete guide to Vedic wisdom for discovering one's true life purpose and experiencing the absolute truth. In today's launch event, we will be privileged to join Swami G as he graciously unveils the book. In addition, we will all get the opportunity to delve deeper into it through an exciting panel discussion and Q&A with the author, Swami Mukundananda himself. Let us watch an inspiring introductory video about Swami G.
Swami Mukundananda is a global spiritual leader, best-selling author, Vedic scholar, and IIT IIM graduate. Swamiji has an exceptional ability to convert ancient yogic knowledge into wisdom for everyday living. He is a founder of various non-profit organizations like a charitable hospital, a naturopathy hospital, spiritual centers across the world, the beautiful Radha Krishna Temple of Dallas, and is presently constructing a university in Odisha. Swami G is the best-selling author of The Science of Mind Management and 7 Mindsets for Success. He is the founder of the yogic system called JKYog. By his compassionate and approachable nature, Swami Mukundananda is transforming lives across the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Swami Mukundananda.
Please join me in welcoming Swami G with a huge round of applause. Swami G, our deepest gratitude to you for yet another devotional offering in the form of your latest book for the spiritual benefits of millions of people interested in learning about the noble truths of Hinduism. I would now like to request you and our panelists to graciously inaugurate the launch by lighting the lamp and unveiling the book.
Om Agnirjyotirjyotiragnihi Shvaha Surjo Jyotirjyotihi Surjaha Shvaha Agnirvarjo Jyotirvarchaha Shvaha Surjo Varjo Jyotirvarchaha Shvaha Jyotihi Surjaha Surjo Jyotihi Shvaha Om Bodhipadevarupastvam कर्म साक्षी अविघ्नकृत यावद् कर्म समाप्ति स्यात् तावत्त्वं सुस्थिरो भव शुभं करोतु कल्याणं आरोग्यं धनसम्पदां शत्रुबुद्धि विनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोस्तु ते। बोलिए सद्गुरु महाराज की जय।
This book was officially released on 27th of May, and very happy to be doing the unveiling of the book here at the headquarters of JKYog USA at the Radha Krishna temple in the presence of Radha Krishna and Sri Maharaj Ji. Since the beginning of humankind, people around the world have realized India, Bharatvarsh, as the Jagat Guru of the world. And the reason for that have been the innumerable sages who blessed this land and purified it by their inconceivable austerities, by their purity of thought, intention, by love of God and the divine grace they received. As a consequence of their austerities, number of sacred books were manifested, some directly the words of God. These were the Shrutis, the others are the Smritis that were inspired in the hearts of the sages. Now, these sacred texts contain such precious gems of knowledge that we sincerely yearn to access. And hopefully, this book makes a little sincere attempt at putting all those gems of wisdom in a manner accessible to you so that you can relish them, savor them, and as a result, enrich your life experience, sparkle your sojourn on this planet Earth, and ultimately achieve the supreme destination of your soul. So this is the book, Spiritual Secrets from Hinduism, Essence of the Vedic Scriptures. To coincide with the launch of the book, we are so happy to be announcing a 30-episode challenge by the same name. This contains 30 videos for you to receive the knowledge and internalize it. They are being released through the Radha Krishna Bhakti app, which is a free download both on the Android and the iPhone platforms. Do take advantage of it. Each episode also has many other things to work, exercises, games, points to earn, etc., to make it a very enjoyable experience for everyone. 2 episodes have already been released. They are being released at the frequency of 2 every week, giving you the time to assimilate and digest them. So do take advantage of this offering of Vedic knowledge at the feet of, for the benefit of all of you by the blessings of Radha Krishna and Jagadguru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj. Radhe Radhe.
Many congratulations to you, Swamiji, on the book launch. Let us now watch these beautiful videos highlighting key features of the book and the 30-day challenge.
Embark on a profound journey through the age-old wisdom of the Vedas with Swami Mukundananda's latest masterpiece, Spiritual Secrets from Hinduism. Unveil the essence of true knowledge as this complete guide delves deep into the heart of Vedic wisdom. Who am I? What is the purpose of life? How can I connect with the divine? Spiritual Secrets from Hinduism answers these intriguing questions in an accessible format that resonates with children, youth, and adults alike. Understand the intricate paths of Karma Yog, Jnana Yog, and Bhakti Yog, and how they converge to guide you towards spiritual enlightenment. Whether you're a seeker of truth or simply curious about spirituality, this book offers a gateway to understanding life's deepest questions. Join Swami Mukundananda on this enlightening voyage and transform your understanding of the universe. Spiritual Secrets from Hinduism. Experience the absolute truth. Available on Amazon. Get your copy today.
Who am I? What is the purpose of life? How can I connect with the divine? Find answers to these profound questions and many more with Swami Mukundananda's latest masterpiece, Spiritual Secrets from Hinduism. Join us on the Radha Krishna Bhakti app for an exclusive 30-day challenge that promises to transform your life one lecture at a time. Dive into the wisdom of Vedic knowledge through beautifully summarized lectures, where every takeaway unveils a path to greater understanding. Engage with interactive activities and test your grasp of spiritual concepts, an essential step towards your spiritual progress. Receive daily inspirational quotes from Swamiji himself, and let his words guide you on this journey of self-discovery. Sign up for free and earn participation points with each step you take. Embark on your transformative journey today. Hurry! Register now and be a part of something truly divine. Only on the Radha Krishna Bhakti app, your spiritual companion.
With that, we are now ready to step into the most exciting part of today's event. Live panel discussion with Swami Mukundananda on Spiritual Secrets from Hinduism. We all look forward eagerly to hearing the gems of wisdom from Swamiji. I would like to hand it over to Nitin Kaushalji, who will be moderating this panel.
Thank you, Radhe Radhe Swamiji. It's our extreme pleasure and honor to be here with you and have with me a couple of esteemed panelists with me. Let me start off. This is Nitin. I am director with one of the financial institutions here in US and a volunteer at Radha Krishna Temple. It has been my extreme fortune and privilege to be associated with JKYog and with Swamiji over the last several years, in fact close to a decade now. And it has been such a fruitful journey, brought in a lot of positive influence and enrichment in my personal, professional and spiritual journey. Swamiji, I've been an ardent reader of all the books that you have written so far. And I can continue to rave on and on about that, but I'm eagerly looking forward to today's discussion on your latest gem, which is Spiritual Secrets from Hinduism, With that said, I would like to have our other panelists introduce themselves.
Radhe Radhe Swamiji, Radhe Radhe everyone. I'm Kashmira. I work as a technology leader with an airline company. I have been spiritually seeking for many years, wandered for many years, until I finally found a home with JKYog philosophy. And Swamiji, one of the things I love the best about your teachings is the ease with which they can be applied to practical life. And I do that all the time, especially in the workplace. In turbulent times, all the wisdom that you have in your books and your teachings, I can help my team navigate change very gracefully. And it is an absolute blessing and honor to be seated here in your presence, and I look forward very much to discussing this book with you. Thank you so much.
Radhe Radhe Swamiji, Radhe Radhe everyone. This is Payal, Human Resource Professional and active volunteer at the Radha Krishna Temple. For over 4 years now, my journey, I was blessed having Swamiji in my life. This journey has been awe-inspiring, deeply enriching and transformative. Swamiji, today I feel it's a fortunate experience for me to just be here and share some of the, understand and share some of the spiritual secrets from this book. I'm super excited and thankful for being here. Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you, very nice, Nitin, Kashmira and Payal. So happy to be having this session, which gives us an opportunity to churn this knowledge of the spectrum of the Vedic scriptures. And I hope people listening today will relish the nectar that comes out of our discussions.
Thank you, Swamiji. So let me tee off today's conversation with a question that a lot of us are spiritual seekers, and I think participants who are here can relate to it very much as well. So for us to be spiritual, is it really necessary for us to know God as well?
Yes, Nitin, spirituality addresses the need of the soul to connect with something sacred beyond the mundane experience that we have around us, and to find a higher purpose. Now, people try and fulfill this need in various ways. Some people see nature as sacred, others see divinity in icons, and there's a lot of angel worship in the Western world, worship of the devatas in the East. However, the need to connect with God arises when we quest for the absolute truth. When these questions become important in our mind, who am I? Why am I here? We see this amazing world, and the question arises that Creator, why did He create it? And who is that personality who did all of this? Besides that, the desire to know God is also an expression of our gratitude, because we have received so many gifts from Him. So the urge is to learn more about Him. It also becomes a manifestation of our devotion, natural desire to understand. Like, for example, Newton, when he saw creation in all its glory and the miracle of God manifesting in each speck of it, it ignited his devotion. So likewise, when we see the glory of creation, we wish to understand the immense splendor of the Creator.
That's a great way to start off this conversation, Swamiji, with talk of gratitude and devotion towards our Creator. One of the questions, quintessential questions that spiritual seekers have when they start off on this journey, when they turn inwards, is what is the goal and purpose of my life? So could you shed some of your divine light on this question?
Yes, absolutely. Again, this is a spiritual urge in us. We have jobs, you have a family, you have so many things, chores around you, which are mundane. But that doesn't satisfy the soul again. The yearning in the soul is to find the higher purpose, something that is beyond self-interest. I, me, myself, my family. And when people find a higher purpose that resonates with them, then that becomes the deepest inspiration of their life. However, I firmly believe that it is not sufficient just to find a higher purpose. I wish to help AIDS victims in Africa. That doesn't satiate the quest for the truth. So in determining your higher purpose, you must align it with your understanding of the truth. That is where you read the scriptures, realize the nature of the self, the connection of the self with God. When you get clarity on these points, then the goal of your life becomes to attain, number one, self-realization. Who am I? Number two, this self is only a drop of the ocean. So who is that ocean? To attain God realization and self-realization. That becomes the goal.
Thank you, Swamiji. It's so amazing, all these lofty and esoteric concepts, otherwise when you explain them, it just starts falling in place and makes so much more sense. So this is a good segue into the next question, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate to, especially parents with the newer age or newer generation or the current generation that we have, which rely a lot on logic, empirical evidence, and proofs. So the fact that the spirituality does not culminate unless you have an desire to know the Creator or God itself. How do we address this question if people say, what is the proof of God's existence?
Now, science is based on direct evidence. You see something, you perceive it, and accept it as a reality. But direct evidence is got its limitations because our senses are limited. So there is a second evidence, which is inferential evidence. From something that you can see, you infer something else. There is fire on the hill. You can't see it, but you can see the smoke. In our Vedas, these two are called Pratyaksh Praman and Anuman Praman. And then even more powerful is Shabd Praman. So how do you use all three of these to prove the existence of God? The first is Anuman Praman, which means you see this amazing creation and you say there must be an intelligent design behind it. The smallest Higgs boson, which has a half-life of 0.001 seconds, which has not directly been seen, only estimated. It just gives us an inkling on the complexity of creation. So all of this leads us to believe there must be an intelligent creator. Now that is the Anuman. But today's youth will say, I want direct proof. There is a process for direct proof. Just like milk has got butter in it. You can't see it. You say, I want to see it, Swamiji. All right. Turn it into yogurt. Churn the yogurt. You will extract the butter. Likewise, if you wish to have Pratyaksh Praman of God, purify your heart. And then you will see Him. Nirmal man jan so mohi pava. Now somebody says, I am not willing to conduct the experiment, but I want the proof. I am not willing to purify my heart. It's like somebody challenging science and saying, I will not do the experiment in the laboratory, but I need the proof. So the Pratyaksh Praman can come if we put in the effort, Anuman Praman is commonsensical, but the Vedas say beyond both of these is an infallible means of knowledge. And what is that? You access a higher authority that cannot make mistakes. Like, for example, when people wish to know who is their father, they don't do some DNA analysis. They accept the authority of the mother. That is her Shabda Praman. She knows, she will tell you. Likewise, in case of God, the Shabda Praman are the scriptures, the Vedas, and the sages who have realized them. So we get knowledge from them. They are telling us there is a creator. Believe it. Not willing to believe? Do the experiment. And actually, even in science, we are using this Praman, although not highlighting it so much, because all knowledge we acquire is through a teacher and through the books. So likewise, these three Pramans have been used by our Vedic acharyas. I will not go into the detail, but extremely logically to establish the existence of the Creator.
Thank you so much, Swamiji. You just make this complex formula so simple and so easy to understand. My question is, our spiritual journey starts with God and ends on God. So who is God and how we develop the relationship with Him?
God is beyond words, because words have their limitations. God is divine and infinite. The story goes that Ram went and asked his guru Vasisht, what is the definition of God? And Vasisht remained silent. Ram thought he has not heard. He repeated, Gurudev, this is what I was asking. Vasisht still did not give a response. Ram repeated a third time. And Vasisht said, Ram, silence is the answer. There is no definition of God. Nevertheless, to get an inkling, He is the possessor of infinite energies, infinite qualities, infinite abilities. He has innumerable names, forms, abodes, virtues, pastimes, and devotees. People like to compartmentalize, which means the way I understand God is the way He must be. And this limited understanding has led to so many conflicts in history. But as the proud followers of the Vedic tradition, we should have a wider perspective and see God like that story of the elephant, where blind people went to see, one caught the tail and said that this elephant is like the rope, the other caught the leg and said it's like the tree. So likewise, God has got innumerable aspects to His personality, but to give you a slight idea, He manifests in three ways in this world. The first is the formless Brahman, which is all pervading, which is everywhere. The second is the indwelling Paramatma in everybody's hearts, who notes our karmas and gives the results. And the third is the personal form that descends as the avatar and displays pastimes, that is called Bhagavan. So Bhagavan, Paramatma and Brahman.
Thank you, Swamiji. So nicely and beautifully explained. So I'll build on this question, Swamiji. You said that God resides within us as Paramatma, and at the same time you said He's all-pervading as well. And answer to the previous question, you were talking about that elusive Higgs boson particle. So now the scriptures say that God is smaller than the smallest, and yet we know our universe is so vast. So there has to be an upholder, and it says it is bigger than the biggest. So how do we resolve this paradox? Because it doesn't seem palatable to the way we think to our mundane intellect. So if you can please shed some light on that.
Yes, the Vedic mantras are very emphatic about this. Yasmat param na paramasti kinchit yasman nanyo na jayosti kaschit. The mantra says there is nothing bigger than him and there is nothing smaller than him. Vrihaccha taddivya machintya rupam sukshmacha tat sukshmataram vibhati. The Mundaka Upanishad says again the same thing. So the question arises that how do we understand somebody who's bigger than the biggest and smaller than the smallest? This is his nature, where mutually contradictory attributes reside at the same time. We call it Virodhi Dharma. So a sweet Leela of Sri Krishna, which is very popular, is that when Yashoda Maiya wanted to tie him to the mortar wheel, she got a rope and she put it around, and it turned out to be 2 fingers short. So she said, "Aur jodo isme," and then she tried it again, it was again 2 fingers short. So this kept on happening, and all the ropes of Braj were getting finished. Now out there, Shukadev, who is relating the Bhagavatam, he says, how will Yashoda ever tie this Lala, who is God? Na antar, na bahiryasya, na purva, na api chaparam. Purva param bahischantar jagato yo jagatjaya. This Lala of hers has got no inside, no outside. No, nothing earlier than him, nothing after him. But he is inside the world and outside the world. He is in every atom of creation, and the whole world resides in him. He existed before the world came about, and he shall remain after the world dissolves. So in Sanskrit, in the scriptures, this is called kartum, akartum, anyatha kartum samarth. God can do mutually contradictory things at the same time. By virtue of that, he is so sukshma that he can reside within that tiny Higgs boson, and the whole universe resides within him. Both of these are simultaneously true, and that is why he is God.
Thank you, Swamiji, for resolving this contradiction, which can often confuse, and at least it shed a lot of light, on this topic to me personally. So thank you again for that.
Wow, Swamiji, God sounds like he's a very paradoxical Parmeshwar indeed. That seems like it's very hard for us to know God with our limited, tiny intellect, right? So I just want to gently steer this conversation towards the concept of grace. Do we get to know God just alone by His grace, or as a spiritual sadhak, do I need to do any self-effort at all?
Now see, our intellect has its limitations, and our intellect cannot conceive of some entity who has such contradictory attributes. That is why, again, the Upanishads, they say, Nayamatma pravachanena labhyo na medhaya na bahuna shrutena. You cannot understand God through spiritual discourses, nor by the exercise of the intellect, nor by hearing various kinds of dissertations. There is only one way to know him. Yamevaisha vrinute tena labhyase. If he chooses, he will bestow his understanding upon you, which means he will enhance your intellect by his energy, and then you will be able to know him. But to become a recipient of the grace, you also need to prepare yourself. It's like a farmer depends on the rain. Agricultural farming, particularly in India where irrigation is limited, is so highly dependent on the rainfall. But if the farmer just sits down and says, all right, when the rain comes, the crops will take care of themselves, it won't happen. They have to do their bit and then patiently wait for the rain to come. Likewise, these two forces intertwine inconceivably, our self-effort and the divine grace. Tapa prabhavat deva prasadarcha. So the mantra out here is, put in your best efforts and pray to God for His grace. By the conjunction of these two, the difficult aim of our endeavor, which is God realization, will become sugam or easy.
Thank you, Swamiji, for explaining this concept that we have to rely on self-effort so that we gain eligibility for God's grace. So there are a couple of more variables which I'm sure would play on a lot of people's mind. We talk about destiny, or the prarabdha part of it, or the part that is fixed in our life, the things which are predestined. And then you spoke about self-effort here. And then we also hear about our free will. So if you can just shed some light on this, how does all these three things play, and what is the significance of self-effort in that, if part of our life is predestined or most of it is, if you can just explain that concept.
Absolutely, Nitin. Usually what I see is that in most question answer sessions, this question often gets raised because on one side, people from the Indian culture do have that intrinsic faith that there is a past life and I'm getting destiny as a consequence of it. And that leads to the question that, am I controlled by it, or is there something in my hands? I think the most convincing counter to the attitude of fatalism, I am controlled by destiny, is that if destiny was the only factor at play, there would be no need for scriptures. Sri Krishna would have told Arjuna, whatever is written in your destiny will happen, whether you understand, whether you don't understand. But the fact that he goes to such lengths to ensure that Arjuna comprehends means that Arjuna has a free will. So all of us have a free will. I like the way Dr. Radha Krishna explained this, India's philosopher at the time of independence. He said, you are dealt a hand of cards. You have to play with those cards, they are unchangeable. But how you play is your own free will. So likewise, none of us chose our parents. Like Sri Krishna chose his parents, Vasudeva and Devaki, I am taking avatar. In our case, we did not say, okay, Mummy, Papa, I am taking avatar. We were given. You will be born here with such assets, such things to work out. Now after that is the free will. But while putting in the effort, don't think of your destiny. Because if we bring destiny into the mind, then we will become lax. So that is why prayatna mein savdhan and phal mein santusht. The results are not in your hands. Now if you think, oh my God, I did such a bad job, it's possible you may become dejected. So after having put in your best efforts, now whatever happens, just think, well, maybe it was my destiny. Maybe it was the will of God. Maybe He deliberately did not give me material success so that I become detached. In this way, bring destiny in at that time and retain your positivity.
Again, Swamiji, very beautifully you explained the concept of free will. Most of us sitting in this room have several duties to play. We have a family to take care, we have home, we have professional, corporate life, and many things which we have to take care. I'm very curious to know, what is my duty? And how do I perform Karma Yoga while performing my duty?
Okay, so Payal, first of all, you have to define who are you. You're asking for your duty, so I'm asking who are you. When there's clarity there, the duties will become clear. As regards to duty, in the word in our Sanatana Dharma is dharma. Duty is referred to as dharma, although dharma is a more expansive word. It talks about the values, the beliefs, the action, the codes of conduct, the ethics that are worthy of upholding. So, when we see ourselves as the body, we have a set of duties. This is the husband, these are the children, this is my job, my profession, my country, etc. They are called Sharirik Dharma. And when we understand that I am the soul is neither male nor female. The soul is neither Indian nor American. The soul is a part of God. And the duty of the soul is one. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti adhokshaje. Ahetuki avyavahitaya yatma samprasidati. The param dharma is bhakti for Parameshwar. Such bhakti which is without a break, continuous, and without a cause, without any selfish desire for return. So this is the duty of your soul, but then you don't have the option of chucking everything away and taking sannyas. That kind of freedom only a few people in society have. That is why our Vedic scriptures give a second option, which is Karma Yoga, where you perform both duties. You take care of your worldly duties, but at the same time keep on cultivating love for God as the ultimate duty of your life. So if you can do both these duties simultaneously, you will be a Karma Yogi and it will be very pleasing to God.
Swamiji, thank you so much for drawing that clear distinction between our worldly duties and our spiritual duties. As we progress on the spiritual path and we offer ourselves up to God, sooner or later we come across this concept of surrender, which again seems very esoteric and abstract. What is surrender? Is it an action I have to do, or is it something I have to say? So can you help us understand what surrender is?
Yes, surrender is an integral part of most mystical systems. And in the path of Bhakti, it is essential. In fact, Maharshi Patanjali in his Ashtanga Yoga, 3 times he says, Ishvara Pranidhanat, surrender to God, surrender to God. We all, in the Indian culture, we realize the people chanting Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, I surrender to Shri Krishna. Now, this, we all know we are supposed to surrender, but what does surrender mean seems to be a mystery. I would like to clarify this by suggesting that we first of all realize a few basic truths. The first is that the whole world and everything that is in it belongs to that one God. And the second, I am a part of Him. The purpose of my life is to fulfill His wish for me. Material consciousness is the reverse. The purpose of the world is to gratify me. Now, when we establish ourselves in this understanding that my job is to serve Him, that attitude of service and realization that everything is His brings about a state called state of surrender, which is characterized by this acceptance of His will. Thy will be done, not my will. So when we accept that I am to fulfill His will and not the other way around, then the basis of surrender falls into place.
Thank you, Swamiji. If given a choice, I would like to be in that state forever, surrender to God. But then comes our emotions. As HR professional, I understand EQ, EI, and emotional management. But I want to understand from you, how do I manage my emotions and why my emotions fluctuate throughout the day?
That's right. EQ is the subject of study of HR professionals. Now, what you study in HR is the inputs you receive from Western psychology. There is another perspective which is coming from Eastern psychology, which is separating every wire in regards to the working of the mind. But just to relate to the few things to shed light on your question, this material energy has got three gunas: Sattva guna, Rajaguna and Tamaguna. Also called the mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. The gunas are in the environment, they are within us, they are in our sanskars. From time to time, one guna starts dominating. And then our mindset deviates in that manner. So for example, if you were to go to your puja room, that undisturbed holy environment would enhance the sattva guna inside. You would experience inner peace, contentment, relaxation of material aspirations, and definitely not anger, greed. But then, let us say that while remembering God, your child comes and chooses to sit in your lap, and you receive your child's touch, it just shifts the guna to Rajaguna. And it reminds you of all the worldly desires and ambitions that are lying in your heart, takes your mind in the worldly direction. And just suppose that when you came out of your puja room, there was a little friction with any of the family members, now the guna would shift to tamoguna. So a person with EQ must realize that everybody's mindset is oscillating and our own mindset is oscillating. This will enable them to stop being disturbed when other people's thinking does not conform with ours. So that ability to empathize with what may be going on with others, what's going on within myself, are two essential parts of EQ. And the third one is emotional self-mastery, where you decide to take charge. Say, I will not let the gunas now call the shots. Instead, I will take charge. So given the different options that my mind can deviate towards, I will force my mind in a state of contentment, calm and poise. That aim, that effort is what sadhana is about.
Thank you, Swamiji. I now understand the Western definition of emotional management is incomplete without the Eastern definition of emotional management. Thank you so much for that. That brings my next question. Why do I get angry? And is there a lasting solution to overcome it?
Anger is one of the generals of the material energy, Maya. So all these generals are sitting inside: greed, desire, anger, hatred, envy. Given an opportunity, they raise their head. Now, specifically addressing anger, anger is not a disease but the symptom of a disease. And the real disease is the desire that things should happen as I wish. And they should not happen in a manner that is uncomfortable to me. So the attachment to have things favorable to my mindset and my comfort zone, that is what results in the outburst of anger. Why did he not speak like this? Why did she not do that? Why did this happen? Some people even become angry at God. God should have done like this. But instead, the benefit of divine knowledge is it helps us change the perspective. I am not the controller and I am not the enjoyer, as we discussed. So these two sentiments, when we start nurturing them inside, then we make peace with whatever happens. Now when we ease off the attachments, relax the desires, then we say, Sab theek hai. I tried my best. Now Bhagavan ki aisi hi ichha thi, I will learn to accept. In fact, the same thing can be taken a little further, which is what the saints do. When you try to annoy them, they say, oh, Sri Krishna is sitting inside this guy and testing me. Irritate me as much as you want, I will not become angry. So they convert that irritable situation into an opportunity for self-growth, an opportunity for conquering the lower self, for cleansing the heart.
Thank you, Swamiji. From anger, I would come to another question that often plays on, I think, a lot of spiritual aspirants' mind. So it's like when I want to watch TV, if it is Doordarshan and one channel, it's an easy choice for me. But ever since the advent of cable TV, I mean, my hand doesn't stop flipping on the remote, right? So it's a very confusing choice you have to make all the times. Now, if I were to relate it to spirituality, there are so many paths, right? Some paths, somebody says, do Tratak Dhyan, somebody will say, do Kundalini Jagaran, somebody will say, you only are God. Now, as a seeker, as an aspirant, how do I know what are the different paths? And or all the paths, it's like all roads lead to Rome, or is there a well-established, bona fide, streamlined way of approaching this? So what are the different paths to God realization?
That's very right. A number of options is a privilege because you get the opportunity to choose, but it's also a reason for getting confounded. Now, how do I decide between all of these? And our Sanatana Dharma is particularly liberal. It says you can do this, you can do that. The same one Bhagavad Gita is teaching Hatha Yoga, Ashtang Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga. So, we need to take recourse to the scriptures to resolve this. The Bhagavatam explains, Yogastrayo maya prokta nrinam shreyo vidhitsaya jnanam karma cha bhakti cha nopayo nyosti kutrachit. Look, there are three bona fide paths to the Supreme: Karma, Jnana and Bhakti. Somebody says, why Karma, Jnana, Bhakti? Because the nature of the Supreme is Sat, Chit and Anand. As His little parts, we are also Sat, Chit, Anand. to a smaller extent. Sat has the nature of works or karma. Chit has the nature of knowledge or gyan. And Anand has the nature of love or bhakti. So we have got three natures, karma, gyan and bhakti. That is why there are three paths. But coming to the second part of your question, all these paths will require bhakti for their completion. It is just like if you take the mythical Amrit, it makes you immortal. You could mix it in milk and take it, it'll do its work. You could take it in water, it will still make you immortal. Or you could take it by itself. Likewise, bhakti when added to karma makes it karma yoga. When added to gyan makes it gyan yoga. By itself, it is bhakti yoga. But Milahina Raghupati binu anuraga kiye yoga japa jnana viraga. The Ramayana says, until you add bhakti, none of the sadhans is complete. Bhakti will be essential in all these paths.
Thanks, Swamiji. It sounds like bhakti, as you emphasized, is the essential ingredient, just like salt is the essential ingredient when we cook, right? So cooking reminds me, my team has a constant debate about what's the right way to make a peanut butter sandwich, right? Do you put peanut butter on both sides and jelly in the middle, or jelly on one side and peanut butter on the other one? I will save you from the other combinations, but you get the gist. So just like there's many different ways of building a sandwich, there are many different ways of doing bhakti, right? Some people like to go to the temple, some do it in their own altar at home, some engage in bhajan kirtan, some do puja path, some do meditation. So can you distill for us and give us the essence of what is the best way to practice bhakti?
Just like God is infinite, His bhakti is also infinite. You could practice it in absolutely any way. One disciple asked his guru, Guruji, how would you suggest I do sadhana? Guruji said, Beta, start running and think that God is running with you. You'll be practicing bhakti. He said, Guruji, can I not do sadhana while walking? Sure, walk and think that God is sitting on your shoulders. Guruji, is it possible to do bhakti while standing? Definitely, stand and think God is right in front of you. Guruji, is it possible to do bhakti while sitting down? He said, absolutely, make him sit next to you. So, there are so many innumerable ways to do bhakti. Out of which, of course, the Navadha Bhakti became popular because Prahlad Maharaj mentioned it in the Bhagavatam, and subsequently Vallabhacharya emphasized it, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's disciples emphasized it. Navadha Bhakti was explained in a different way by Bhagwan Ram to Shabri, etc. But Jagat Guru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj says that this Navadha Bhakti is a simplification of that knowledge. And actually there is Karodha Bhakti, innumerable ways of it. The main thing is love for God. And everything else is an addition to it. People have different sanskars. Some like to worship the deity, some like to offer prayer, some like to take his name, some wish to hear his glories. All of these would be bona fide ways of doing bhakti.
Thank you, Swamiji. You're giving us this speech and helping us to understand so many things. And I'm sitting here and figuring out that how simply he's explaining how he has made it so simple. It's so simple to just listen to you and feel that I'm right person to do bhakti. But what should be my sentiments? We understand the ways of bhakti, but with what sentiments?
Yes. From a divine perspective, we are like the little fragment of the ocean, where he is the ocean and we are the fragment. We are the Ansh and he is the Anshi. So factually, our every relationship is with God. The Brahma Sutra states, Ansho nana vyapadeshat anyatha cha api. As his little part, he is your everything. Nevertheless, we all have sanskars coming from past lives, which means in all these past lives you had a husband or a wife or a child, father, mother, sister, brother. So these sanskars are there. Utilizing these sanskars, the Bhakti Shastras have presented 5 bhavs, which means 5 pathways to do bhakti. Another word for bhakti is upasana. Up means close, asana means to sit. To go close to God and sit down. Now, how do you go close? You need some pathways. These are the emotional pathways. See him as your beloved. That's Madhurya Bhav. See him as your child. That's Vatsalya Bhav. See him as your friend. See him as your master, as your king. These are all ways to take the mind. If somebody says, Swamiji, can I see Sri Krishna as my brother? Of course. Can I see Durga Ma as the mother? Of course. You can use all of these sentiments interchangeably. Hence, Sri Krishna says, Ishvaraha sarvabhutanam riddeshe Arjuna tishtati. Arjun, God is sitting in your heart. Tameva sharanam gaccha sarvabhavena bharata. Surrender to that God with every bhav. See him as your everything, and the mind will become comprehensively attached to the divine.
Thank you so much, Swamiji. It was certainly a eureka moment for me, the way you explained it, because it was inconceivable for me that we can build a personal relationship with Almighty God, right? So what you said, in a lot of ways, it has been a paradigm shift, because all along, as part of my growing up, or the conditioning most of us receive, is that God is our Supreme Father, and if you are not going to ask from your Father, who else are you going to ask from? And also, I think one of the definitions that I've heard is that God is like a cosmic bellboy. You go and ask him whatever you wish and desire. And another abbreviation that I came was GOD is like gives on demand. Now my question is, part of bhakti or the praise that we do is we go with some kind of a motive or an agenda or a wish list, right? And I want this, I want that, right? So what is the good way to pray to God, and what would be the best thing to ask of him? If you can please shed some light on that.
Consider this analogy of a little child who first, as an infant, thinks, everything I get is from my mother. So the child's first attachment is to the mother. And then slowly he puts 2 and 2 together. There's a father also supporting my mother. And then either the attachment expands or gets divided or shifts. Papa, Papa, now first it was Mummy, Mummy. But it's always, Papa, I want this, and Mummy, I want this. And then when the child becomes a grown-up, the child says, okay, Papa, Mama, you sit down and let me know what I can do for you. So this level of bhakti, where God should be a cosmic bellboy, that is a preliminary level. Our soul is yearning for divine love. That divine love is characterized by the desire not to take but to give. So the best manifestation of bhakti is in seva bhav. We will get his divine service when we, after God realization, go to his divine abode. But that will happen when we get divine bhakti. bhakti or para-bhakti. And para-bhakti we will get when the vessel is ready. And the vessel will be ready when we do sadhana bhakti to cleanse the vessel. So right now we need to engage in sadhana. The goal, the intention should be very clear so that I can serve. In spirituality, if the intention gets a little muddled up, then people, instead of going there, they go there. Then after a few lifetimes, they realize, oh my God, my sanskars developed wrongly. Right now, at this praveshika kaksha, at the entry level, if we come in touch with the Rasik saint, he informs us that, look, love God for His sake and make His service as your goal. Tato sukha sukhitvam. So pray to Him for His seva, but you will be able to do seva when you have bhakti. So cry out to Him to bless you with bhakti, again with the proper intention, so I can use this bhakti to serve Him and give Him happiness.
Thank you, Swamiji. That certainly simplifies, the way we can approach bhakti, and just simplifies this whole process for us. So thank you so much for that.
Swamiji, thank you. There were many gems that you offered in that answer, but I want to pick out one particular gem. You said, all we're doing is to prepare ourselves as a vessel to receive that grace from God and to receive God's love. So as part of that preparation, meditation is a big aspect of our sadhana, right?
Yes.
Can you help us understand, because there's so many different ways of doing meditation too. Do you listen to something while you meditate? Do you meditate upon a light? How do you actually meditate? What is the best way to do it, and what is the most effective way of meditation?
We connect, our mind has such sanskars that it connects most comprehensively with the form. So in the world also, when you wish to remember somebody, you bring their image in mind. Likewise, in bhakti, we wish to take our mind to our Supreme Lord. Now, taking His name is definitely beneficial. But if we can visualize His form, it gives us the basis for love. What does that mean? That if you can just close your eyes and bring the image of your Ishtadev in front, now attaching the mind becomes extremely easy. Not automatic, but far easier. So that is why the easiest way of bhakti is Rupa Dhyana meditation. This has got other advantages as well, because we are not trying to stop the mind, but to dovetail it in the direction of God. It's like a cycle handle. If you press the brakes, you fall to the left or to the right. If you turn the handle, it keeps moving without forward motion. And third is, when you meditate on His image, you will start receiving His grace. And by His grace, the journey will become easy. So with all these pointers, the one that I always suggest is a Rupa Dhyan meditation.
Thank you again, Swamiji. My association with you has been an exciting expedition of continuous learning and just this mesmerizing experience. This question which I have here is actually not valid for me because I'm already convinced on this question. But for the benefit of others, I would like to ask this question. Is a guru necessary for a spiritual journey?
In the world as well, whenever we wish to receive knowledge, we go to a teacher and we access the textbooks. Now somebody says that when books are there, what is the need for a teacher? right? But the teacher just facilitates the process of learning and understanding. Now, in the spiritual realm, the subject of learning is paroksh, which means at present you don't have experience of many of these things. And that is why the need for a teacher becomes even more. Apart from that, when you start following the process, because of sanskars of so many lives, doubts arise. These can be resolved when we have a teacher. The nature of the soul is to become lax, to become uninspired. So if a teacher, a guide is available, the guide keeps on waking up. Chalo, remember, don't forget. It is able to constantly inspire. Besides that, so often the student may become discouraged. This is too difficult for me. The teacher is able to encourage. Never mind. Think of how much you have done. It's not too much right now. Go ahead. Right? So these are just some of the things, the benefits that we get when we have a teacher. That teacher in spirituality, in Indian spirituality, is called Guru. Saint Kabir says, Ram rahe van bhitare, Guru ki puji aas. Kahe Kabir pakhand sab jhoothe hi niras. Those people who say, God is in the forest, God is inside you, there is no need for a guru. It's easy to say these things, but they become disappointed in their spiritual journey. Shankaracharya said, Yavat gurur na kartavyo tavan muktir na labhyate tasmad guruscha kartavyo gurum bina na siddhyati. Look, until you have a guru, you will not achieve liberation, because you will not even understand the scriptural knowledge. Where is the question of practicing it? That is why we see in the avatar of Sri Krishna, he made a guru, Sandipani Muni. Bhagwan Ram made a guru, Vasishti. Not that they needed, but they wanted to set the precedent and example of the behavior for the rest of humankind. So our learning from that is that for the spiritual path, we will need a teacher.
Thank you, Swamiji, so much. Can't thank you enough from my side as well as on behalf of our panelists for answering our question in such a simple manner, distilling the entire cream of scriptures for us in such a simplified, beautiful way, with an impeccable and irrefutable logic, with such simplified analogies that really make that concept stick in our head. So I'm sure all the audience are enthralled here, and we enjoyed it as much as you enjoyed, hopefully, getting all these questions from us, all kind of questions, and patiently answering each one of these. So really thank you, and we cannot be fortunate enough to have a guide, mentor, and a philosopher like you who can answer these questions and continue to show us the way. So thank you so much, Swamiji, for your time, and I can't wait to lay my hands on the book. I've already ordered the online version, the digital version of it, and the paperwork version. I really can't wait to lay my hands on it. So thank you again for your time,
thank
Swamiji.
you, Nitin. Thank you, Payal. Thank you, Kashmira, for your thoughtful questions. I think you covered a huge gamut of topics. They were very well thought out, very well presented, and my satisfaction was in the fact that we were able to together churn this knowledge for the benefit of people who may be listening.
Thank you.
I embark on a profound journey through the age-old wisdom of the Vedas with Swami Mukundananda's latest masterpiece, Spiritual Secrets from Hinduism. Unveil the essence of true knowledge as this complete guide delves deep into the heart of Vedic wisdom. Who am I? What is the purpose of life? How can I connect with the divine? Spiritual Secrets from Hinduism answers these intriguing questions in an accessible format that resonates with children, youth, and adults alike. Understand the intricate paths of Karma Yog, Jnana Yog, and Bhakti Yog, and how they converge to guide you towards spiritual enlightenment. Whether you're a seeker of truth or simply curious about spirituality, this book offers a gateway to understanding life's deepest questions. Join Swami Mukundananda on this enlightening voyage and transform your understanding of the universe. Spiritual Secrets from Hinduism. Experience the absolute truth. Available on Amazon. Get your copy today.